I do not want to go to any gambling event with somebody who cannot handle gambling. It's miserable. I've seen it. Somebody goes to Vegas with me. He says, "Okay, I brought $1,200. That's all I have for the weekend." And you're there, and he loses in the first 20 minutes.
There's the notion that a lot of gamblers will gamble until they lose because feeling the loss is what gamblers are truly after. Like, the winning isn't enough. They want to feel the loss. Has that ever been something that you've flirted with? Like, almost that self-destructive aspect? Or have you seen anyone kind of go down that road with gambling?
Yeah, I've heard that theory that people like to lose and that's the reason that they gamble. I think, you just cannot use broad strokes on anything like gambling. And I like to use the analogy of drinking, right? The fact is that, and I don't know the percentages, but, I'd assume that 90% or 95% of the average people can work all day, go home, have, 1 or 2 or 3 beers or a glass of wine or 2 at dinner, and they're done. And they enjoy it. In 98% of the time, they have it under control. Young people do things to excess. They're learning, they're wild. The young males have high levels of testosterone and takes over they stop thinking. But, for the most part, most people can drink and handle it, and it's enjoyable for them. But there's, 10% of the population that can't handle liquor, and it takes them in a bad place, and they shouldn't drink. And it seems, I have kind of noticed that people that have addictive behaviors often have addictive behaviors across the board. I'm seeing some of the people that I know that might have had gambling problems also appeared to have drinking problems. I think gambling is less addictive than drinking, in that I think that, the vast majority of people can go to Las Vegas and say, I have $500 and I'm going to play blackjack or slots or whatever. And they go, and when they're done losing their money, maybe they lose another 100 or 200 they didn't plan on. But it doesn't change their life, and they have a good time, and it's all good. But yeah, there's 5% of people that don't know when to stop. And, I don't think we have to get rid of alcohol because a small percentage of the population can't handle it. I don't think we have to get rid of gambling because a small percentage of the population can't handle it. I can tell you myself, having been active in gambling for 50 years, when I was young, and I mean really young, maybe in 18, 19, 20, 21, I would go to the track and I would lose more than I could afford to lose. And it would really hurt. And then I would say, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done yet. I'm done gambling. And then I'd be back the next weekend. But it was actually good that I learned that feeling at a young age, because I learned it. I didn't have children. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have a mortgage. So I wasn't hurting anybody but myself. I was okay. So I'm kind of glad that I tell my sons who grew up, at the racetrack, guys, if you're going to be a stupid gambler and you have to learn, I'd rather you learn it now when you're in college. And the only difference is you got to eat, top ramen for 3 days, but you're not hurting anybody. Yeah. You're not hurting your family or your children or the like. So
what is that feeling? What is that thing that makes you come back when you can't afford to lose?
It's that you think you're going to win. I don't think they go back because they go, man, I really want to feel that horrible stinging feeling that I'm a moron and I lost all my money.
Yeah.
It's because they think, I was just unlucky that time. I think this time is going to be different. It's probably very irrational, or is irrational. I don't.
Is it like an escapism?
You want to ask me what I do not want to do? I do not want to go to any gambling event with somebody who cannot handle gambling. It's miserable. I've seen it. Somebody goes to Vegas with me, and He says, okay, I brought $1,200. That's all I have for the weekend. And you're there and he loses in the first 20 minutes. And like, now he's walking around like the saddest guy, like his dog died because he has nothing to do and he's got to borrow money from his friends. And that sucks. By the way, you don't want to go anywhere with somebody who's an alcoholic either. And, you know, you're at a bar and then after, 40 minutes, he's sloppy and, getting slapped by girls. You don't want that either. I just think there's some people have an addictive personality. Some people don't. And I think the vast majority of people handle gambling far better than they handle alcohol.